Josh Langford here, Market News First exclusive. This is the press conference that we have the honor of being point for questions for Mr. Cendric, director of Bougainville Ventures out of Canada. Bougainville Ventures is traded on the Canadian Stock Exchange under symbol BOG. So not to hold up anything else, there's a lot of people with a lot of questions. And here we go with the first one. Can you give us an idea of your projects in North America, both in Washington and Oregon, but especially starting with Washington and your operations there?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me, Josh. Really appreciate this opportunity to get the word out about Bougainville and our future plans. So, yeah, Bougainville went public via the Washington State I-502 market back in about a year ago. And since then, we've expanded into Oregon. Now, the way we participate in the Washington State market is we participate as landlords. And what we feel is we fulfill a need for these Washington State I-502 license holders to be able to grow at a quicker, enter the market a lot quicker than doing it on their own. Some of the things that we found that were hindering their ability to enter the market was the fact that you needed capital and expertise to grow. A lot of these people that received the licenses were just regular mom and pop people. And we felt that if we provide the facility to for them to grow in, as well as the expertise to grow in, that eliminates the barriers for entry for them to participate in. So we basically fill the gap in as the capital and infrastructure for these growers. And then what we did is, obviously that was our entry into the market. And then when the Farm Bill was initiated back here in January, the U.S. Farm Bill, that allowed us to enter the hemp industry. And how we did that was by acquiring a 70% interest in a already existing hemp farm in Oregon, just about an hour outside of Portland. So that contract or that agreement basically has allowed us to participate in on a 10-acre farm. Now, we are not going to be just limited to growing hemp. Our objective there is to get into the processing. We feel after doing market research that we identified that the real money is in processing. So where we're at is when we acquired that farm, we received 1,700 pounds from the previous year's harvest. And if you look back at some of our press release dating July, we have hired a company to process that product. The product has been processed and now is in the distribution format, trying to get the product out and monetize it. So again, you know, our biggest objective is to get a processing facility built to capitalize on the growing hemp market. Now, what we would be doing is facilitating and allowing local farmers to process their hemp. So if you'll also notice, we put out a press release that we signed an LOI with a company called USA Hemp, and USA Hemp has almost 300 acres for us to process once we get our processing facility built. Where we're at in that stage is we have a 15,000 square foot slab already built, and we are in the midst of delivering material to have the building erected.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Cendric. If you can you give us some detail on exactly why your facility is more impactful in comparison to other facilities, especially out of Oregon?
The advantages that our Oregon hemp farm will have over other hemp farms is, one, its location, and two, the projected facility that we're planning to build. We plan to build a 3-stage processing facility. One will house the drying equipment and storage, and the second part of that facility will be a 2-stage processing equipment extraction machine that would take it from not only oil but to isolate and distillate.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Cendric. One other question in regards to the Oregon facility and your growth operations there. There's a lot of concern right now, especially in the U.S., as major companies are coming into the market and buying their CBD and hemp products, and they're putting their name brand on core products that you're producing. What makes your core products more beneficial, or what differentiates you in the marketplace from other competitors, not just in Oregon, but nationwide as a whole?
Yeah, excellent question. I don't think that we are necessarily going to be better than anyone else. I think what's going to stand out for companies is the branding. And if you'll notice that we just put out a press release that we've entered into a letter of intent with a company called Thrive Wellness. Now, Thrive, as you can see, the brand is amazing, and it already has distribution in Nutrition House throughout Canada, and it's done close to over $2 million in sale, a little over $2 million in sales. So we feel by acquiring this company, we're going to be leaps and bounds above everybody when it comes to market penetration and entry into the market. So we're very excited about that acquisition, and we're days away from closing the definitive. So look for that once that closes, for this company to really start making some growing by leaps and bounds. And another thing is that we plan to do growth through acquisition. So the vision of the company would be production, processing, retail, and branding. So with our Oroville and Oregon facility, we will handle the production portion of the CBD, and the processing is going to be the two buildings that we're putting up right now in Oregon. Or actually, the first one is under construction. The second one will come later on in the year. And then with the retail and branding is part of the Thrive acquisition. And Andy Dollywall, who is the president of Thrive, has extensive experience in branding and sales and distribution. And it just shows in his growth with the Thrive Wellness brand.
Great. And thank you, Mr. Cendric. This also comes from one of our other correspondents out there. What do you see as a revenue plan in terms of your Oregon facility and how that benefits Bougainville as a whole?
The revenue model for the Oregon farm will be there's actually 4 different revenue sources from the processing facility. One, it'll be the harvesting of the hemp, the drying of the hemp, and then obviously the processing it from down to oil as well as distillate. So in the first year, by the end of this year, we should have the drying portion of revenue stream, completed. And going into the new year, we hope to have the processing facility constructed and fully furnished, hopefully by second quarter of 2020. But for this year, the drying, what's very important is that you have to have a drying facility and a space to house all of the hemp that we plan to process. And again, I refer back to the 298-acre LOI contract that we have with USA Hemp that shows the ability. And that's just one farm. There's a number of farms there that we have access to, but just getting the first one done is going to be our first objective.